Welcome to the Sports Betting Preview Show, a pregame.com podcast. This is your host, Marco D'Angelo, along with my partner in crime, Vegas Runner, the soon-to-be TV star. You guys can check him out all this week at CNBC. They're running a special on...
I don't like the name, though, illegal sports gambling. You know, illegal gambling. I mean, I guess the whole show is about, you know, how sports betting is illegal everywhere but here in Vegas. But my side of it, at least, is the legal side, I think. Hopefully, that's what they show. We'll see.
That airs. It actually airs on Wednesday for the first time, but they're running, I think, 8 spots over the next couple days.
Yeah, and then they'll be showing it like they do with the marijuana one and the porn one that's on all the time.
You would know those two, right?
I watched them a lot, dude.
All right, let's get down to business. It's Thursday night football. Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville. I'm going to go to the numbers guy. Tell me the lines. What do we got?
Wild. Let's just start there. This one opened up Indianapolis -6 at Chris, okay? 6 with a total of 44. In a matter of 4 minutes, it got down to Indy -4. That's where the rest of the books opened it. Some offshore even went as low as 3. Which is where it's sitting now. As of today, we're looking at Indy -3 and 42.5, so they're a road favorite. But there were some wise guys that got +6, +5, +4 on Jacksonville. So, you know, it was a little surprising. I don't know if that's, if you really want to laugh, go look at the injury report and look at the Indianapolis Colts. It's the whole team. Yeah. I mean, the whole team is on their injury report. And I thought maybe that's why. But when I dug deeper, almost all of them, the key guys are probable, except for who we know is already out, you know?
The situation, I mean, in a nutshell, this is a first time that we have this with the new head coach, Caldwell, for the Colts. They're in a position, this game means nothing.
The rest of the way.
The season means nothing. The question is...
How's he going to handle it?
Do you play for history or do you play for the playoffs? And is that one and the same? Because there's 2 schools of thought. When the Patriots had their undefeated season, they went at it full throttle the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted it. They rolled into the playoffs. They rolled right to the Super Bowl. Then they lost in the Super Bowl. Now, the flip side to that is a couple years ago, Indianapolis clinched early, right now, but they didn't have an undefeated season. But they shut the engines down. They rested starters like the final couple weeks of the season, almost a month actually. And then they had their first round game against my hometown Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers went in to Indianapolis, beat them in their first game, and quick exit from the playoffs. And everybody said you can't
rest. You can't just turn the switch on and off when you like it.
So, you know, what do? Do you risk injury, you know, to keep these guys sharp? And you've got the added factor of we're playing for history. And not only do we got one team, but we got 2 teams in the same boat. Now, the Saints have not clinched everything yet, and we'll be talking about them in one of our other podcasts this week. But what do you do? How does this coach do it? And what a legacy it would be for him.
First year
coach.
Take a team
team undefeated.
He's set.
And not only are they undefeated for this season, but they've got the NFL record for most consecutive wins in the regular season. I think it's like a 22.
Back to that, yeah.
So, you know, that's the hard part. So, to me, the line won't go any higher than Chris, you know, when Chris brought it out. So, I think the fact that the wise guys jumped all over. Now, you're the wise guy expert, but my opinion is they jumped on the dog knowing that's the best number they're going to possibly get on the dog.
Yeah. Because what you got to look at, when you look at LVSC's ratings, on a neutral field, Indy would be about 9 points over Jacksonville. So factor in home field, and that brings it to around 6, what Chris opened it at. But the wise guys were thinking, like you were, is the motivation there for them? And more importantly, looking at the history of this series, the dog's been money. I mean, 7 out of the last 10, the dog's gotten the cash. Even though Indy's won 7 of the last 10 straight up, the dog's gotten the money. And I think that's some of the reason behind the move as well, not just about the undefeated season and whether they're going to rest starters. And even in that first game we saw, it was a very close game, even though statistically the Colts destroyed them. Peyton had his 300 yards, Garrard had 120, but they just couldn't get it done. I think maybe in the red zone, or I don't know what happened, but it was a lot closer than the stats point to.
Indy was -6 at home.
Yeah,
in the first game of the season, new coach, everything. They had some new receivers to break in. It was a 14-12 game, but like you said, Indy dominated statistically, but they didn't make the key plays in the red zone and drive stalled. The one point is that was the first game of the season, and as the Colts always do, Peyton didn't play
in the preseason.
A lot. So that first week or two, it's like getting the
and
the
even
timing.
Gerard. I mean, I've been impressed by him this year. Early on, he wasn't doing anything, but when you look now, I mean, the guy's got 3,000 passing yards. He's 61% completions. He hasn't thrown a lot of touchdowns, but he hasn't thrown that many interceptions either. I mean, Peyton's thrown 14 interceptions. Gerard's thrown only 6. So I mean, he has been protecting the ball. Another surprising thing. Listening to Ken White earlier in the week on the radio, because that we have that station out here and they do that odds makers show or whatever. Anyway, make a long story short, he actually went on record when they asked him what team has the most betting value right now to win the Super Bowl in the AFC or NFC. A long shot, obviously not the contenders. And he said Jacksonville. That was the team that he thinks could, if they sneak into the playoffs, can do some damage. This team's lost 2 of their last 3. I mean, they're not playing their best ball to say something like that. So I was a little surprised. I don't know how do you feel about that quote from the odds maker?
Yeah, I don't see where he's coming from, other than looking at next to Indianapolis, who's the dominant team in the AFC.
That's why now San Diego's. My boys had come back all of a sudden from pretenders to contenders.
Until last week, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that.
No one had respect for San Diego. Absolutely. It was just the Colts. And now with Pittsburgh going down, New England being beatable, you're right. The AFC is wide open. So I think maybe that makes sense to me. That's where it comes from, because I don't see it. This is a team that can't win on the road. It's a team that's mediocre at best. When you look at them statistically, 23 in scoring offense, 20th in scoring defense. So, they're not doing anything exceptional.
The ludicrous part to that is they make the playoffs. It's as a wild card, and it's most likely going to be the 6th seed.
Right.
This is a team that's going to have to go on the road to win.
Yeah,
they're a warm weather team.
Exactly.
That can end up.
I think he wasn't ready for the question, but it's the first team that popped in his head, because people have been talking about
the top 2
Jacksonville.
seeds will be most likely San Diego and Indianapolis, or Cincinnati. And to me, Cincinnati to me is the dark horse. I think where the value is in the AFC.
Yeah, I think you're right.
think they're still flying under the radar, and we'll be talking more of that in the later.
Do you
segments.
have a lean on this game? I was surprised that the total went down. I mean, obviously because of the first game, but the total in the first game was set up to 45. So I mean, they were expecting points from these two clubs, and this one they even brought it out high. They brought it out 44, considering they scored 26 points last game.
My lean to this game right now, the game itself, I'm going to wait closer to Thursday if I'm going to make a play on the game sidewise. But I do think that what may be worth a bet is Indy in the first half. Because if they play the starters,
it'll be early.
They'll play them
to try to get a lead.
To get a lead and get them out.
That makes sense. I like that.
I
was leaning, I'll tell you the truth, I was leaning Jacksonville myself, but it's tough to step out and take 3. I even 3.5. I'll buy the half on the 3 when I know I could have got 6 if I'd have pulled the trigger as soon as it opened.
Well, we got to wrap this segment up. I also lean slightly to the over.
Okay.
I don't think they'll play hard defense. This has been the first segment. This is the Thursday preview, Indianapolis, Jacksonville. We'll be back at pregame.tv with 6 more videos on the weekend, and we've got a bowl game that we're going to preview as well. This is Marco D'Angelo. He's Vegas Runner. Thanks for joining us.